Hey nerds! It's Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Exclusive tabletop gaming podcast for the Pacific Northwest. All levels of gamers. Analog gaming. Tabletop news. Dungeons and Dragons and magic. Stupid, mindless banter.
There will definitely be some. That's probably our best. That's our best feature.
You are listening to the Geeks of Cascadia podcast.
Hey geeks, Blue Samurai here. It is episode 62. I don't know, maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
But I am with
Rebeculus and
I am still Paul.
And I'm Doug.
and we have a kind of a special episode for you today because it is kind of it is the Orcacon wrap-up. So,
Yeah, totally. Last day of Orcacon.
yes, last day of
Few
Orcacon.
hours left.
Yep.
So if you're expecting us to give you the con news and tabletop gaming news, guess what?
We're too
Forget
tired for
about
that.
No, get bent, listener. We're not going to do that.
Wow, harsh.
We're not doing that. We are kind of
all
tired.
they've done for us.
There's
Yes.
there's a game convention in Portland next weekend called Stumptown. Check that out.
Stumptown, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
that's news. There's
Good call.
there's a news.
Good call, still
Yeah.
Paul. Way
Yeah.
to inject that actual news item.
But we've got some great content.
We do.
Got some
This
great
is
content.
really cool. We talked to Jenn and Keith from Twogether Games. Their website is Twogether Studios, rather. Their website is twogetherstudios.com. That's TWO Gather Studios. And they are the makers of the Adventure Zone, a role-playing card game. So if you listen to the Adventure Zone or My Brother and Me, which you would be very aware of the Adventure Zone, you should really check out our interview, which is coming up very shortly.
Yes.
And yeah,
That was a
it
good
looks,
interview.
looks great. It looks really fun.
I talked a little too much in it, but that was a good interview.
And they were great to talk to. Keith is also the maker of Gloom,
Oh, okay.
which is wonderful.
Oh, that's a good game.
And there's a couple other games we'll talk about in the interview that they've made together.
Right. So, of all the games you played this con, which one did you like the best? What'd you enjoy?
I haven't played any new games other than the one I just got. I picked up Disney's Villainous, even though that came out like last year,
Yeah.
or I think maybe the year before, something like that. But it's pretty fun. I enjoy it.
I think the one I think is the best game I played is Parks.
Parks.
The one I enjoyed the most but was terrible at was Mega City Oceania. Oceania?
Oceania. We had to look it up.
God,
It
it's so hard. Why did they put
Yeah.
that lie in there?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super fun. You stack these little things on a hexagon, and then you have to push it forward, and you have to stack them in a certain way. Super fun, super hard for people with bad hands.
I just didn't. I like two of them. They're kind of close. Clank. I like Clank.
I liked Clank a lot.
But just because I won, I did really well.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's his style of game. You run in, to heck with it. You're playing with it. Screw your opponents, run out,
yes,
start the counter.
that's right. It's all about me. And I like Parks. It was a very pleasant game.
yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Did you
Yeah.
have a park? I just watched you guys.
I had 4 parks.
Four
Did you?
Parks.
Oh, Four
Oh.
Parks.
Didn't see that.
We just reviewed that game on the last episode. Or a
You
couple episodes
did.
ago.
You
Yeah.
did.
So go check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well
Okay.
done, you. Very nice.
I like it. It is I mean, the game is nice. I talked about this in the review, but I mean, the whole box itself and how it's organized.
Everything about it is really nice.
is
The
great,
little
yeah.
wood pieces are really nice. I can pick them up. I noticed. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you had different animals in there.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know
Pretty
what,
cool.
what kind of orca we're going to find at Yellowstone Park.
You had a glacier national. Yours had water. One of your parks
Yeah,
had water.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
where your orca goes.
That's right. So what about you, Rebeculus?
I didn't play too many. We played. What did we play last night before I left?
We
that
played
was
Revolution.
The spy game.
Yes.
Oh, the Resistance. The
Resistance.
Resistance. That's
Resistance
right.
is
fun.
always good.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The
I was the
naval-
spy every single round.
This is the first time,
Mm-hmm.
in like 30 times I've played that game, that I got to not be the spy.
Which was,
You'll always be a spy.
you know what I thought was cool is when us three
Uh-huh.
were the spy. So it was Doug and still Paul and myself, and we were able to blame Rebeculus as being a spy.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Dick.
And Paul didn't even know you were
I
the
didn't. I
spy.
didn't see
Yeah,
who the other
that's
spy
right.
You were
was.
sitting back on the couch
Yes.
with your eyes closed,
Right.
and you lift them up, and you look at me, and you see Paul.
Yeah.
He
Paul
closes his
didn't
eyes.
glance
Paul didn't
next
even
to him.
look. Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I had to kind of wing it.
Was that the
Yeah.
one where it was the last one where we actually...
I think so.
Oh, wait, no, that
No, that
was
was
when
the
we
next
were...
game.
Yeah, and that was where you were a spy.
Yeah, it was me, Rebecca, and Jess. Were the spy.
Yeah, you almost undermined us, but luckily...
Yeah, that was close. I mean,
That
if
was
you,
really
if you send me
close.
on the mission, it was going to be a failure.
I was trying to be a poker
Yeah.
face. Kind of worked. You guys,
And you tried to blame me as being a spy when we were the good guys.
Yeah, well, that's how you play the game.
No, when you're the good
Oh,
guys,
so-
you don't do... it's like, you're the spy. It's like,
When,
I'm
when-
a good
when
guy.
you were the spy next to me, I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was you and me and Doug.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah.
didn't know who the third spy was.
Right. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
One thing great about that game is you can play up to 10 players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
They were playing it down on the first floor, and BJ from BJ and Biggs was
I
there.
saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta text them in the morning and ask him about it because he had an interaction with a lady at Dragonfly last year playing Resistance,
Oh.
where she kind of got fed up with him and how he was playing, even
Oh.
though they were on the same team.
Yeah. Oh God.
She just like after the game was over, she just stormed off.
That's kind of how it works sometimes.
Yeah,
I love
those social games can get like that.
Yeah.
so.
I love
Yeah.
it. Well, what else? Should we maybe go in the interview, or what would you like to do?
I didn't get to get in Slipstrike.
Slipstrike,
Played
we
that too.
finally
yeah,
played
Yeah, that is an
Slipstrike.
awesome, absolutely
From Junk
perfect
Spirit
game
Games.
Still
that
wanna
needs
do
no
that.
improvement.
He's
I've
gonna.
not played
that game.
David Gerard's gonna re-kickstart that here coming up in the next month or two.
Right.
He wanted to get some more contact at conventions under his belt to really pump up the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I should try
But
to
it's a
talk
great
to
it's a
him.
great game. It's a
It's
great
an
game.
Excellent game.
It was a
It's an
great
excellent
game. I could play that game for an hour and a half.
On it, and you could pick up the little pieces too.
You could pick up the
meeples.
pieces. Yeah,
Yeah, that was great.
that's great.
I haven't played that.
And then of
I
course,
still got time.
We have time.
Goatfish.
I bet he's here.
Yeah, we played
He's right, I didn't really
Goatfish.
play
We
any
played
games, but
Goatfish.
yeah,
It's
Goatfish,
Goatfish,
Naval
yeah.
Battle,
I once
or
again
Naval
messed up the
War,
rules.
whatever that is. Good games. Good games.
Yes.
And we also broke it because it was only good for like 4 players, and we had 5 or something
Yeah,
like that.
that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's why that happened.
We've done that
but,
before, and it
yeah,
worked fine. It just didn't
There's a
work that
reason
nice.
Yeah.
for a limited number of players.
We played Dungeon Mayhem.
Dungeon
Oh, yes.
Mayhem.
That's fun with the
Yes.
new
With your-
expansion.
With the new
Yes,
expansion.
without
Yeah.
reading
That
the rules for
involves
those characters.
animal noises in some way.
It says you have to make animal noises when you're the druid.
I could see that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can
Thank you very
reenact,
much.
Can you reenact your
I
goat
cannot.
noise
I
for the
cannot.
listeners?
I cannot, and I will not. There you go. And there
No.
was no goats in that one.
Oh,
By
well,
the
then I
way.
don't know what you were doing.
Goatfish, there was goats.
Yeah, but you were making.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
so,
let's
so
jump.
that was
let's-
awkward.
Let's jump in the
Anyway,
interview with Jenn and Keith from
Let's do that.
Twogether Studios and the Adventure Zone card game.
cool.
Hey nerds, we're still here at Orcacon 2020, and we have the honor of talking to Jenn and Keith from Twogether Studios. How you guys doing?
Good.
Two.
Wonderful. Yeah.
TWO. I love
TWO,
that.
yes.
Super cute name.
It's going to be twogetherstudios.com. I'll put that link down here. And you guys are game creators, and that's
And gamers.
again gamers, and we're so happy to have you here at Orcacon.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
It's wonderful. Are you enjoying yourselves?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. And I'm a big fan of the Adventure Zone.
Ooh,
And
yay.
you guys
Well, that's
are like
good.
demoing that game, your card game here today.
Yeah, we're doing a
Is
play
it-
test.
I don't know about this game.
Yeah,
What
Can
is
you
it
tell us a
about?
little bit about it?
absolutely. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely. It is a collaborative storytelling card game where basically the point is you and a group of up to 4 friends should be able to create your own fantasy adventure in about an hour.
Uh-huh.
You are a team of reclaimers, so it's basically set in the world of the balance arc,
Uh-huh.
but you're expanding the world as opposed to specifically replicating
Okay.
existing stories. So
Okay.
you're the other reclaimers.
Okay, great.
Being overshadowed, and you'll meet like lots of familiar characters along the way,
Yeah.
but it's about creating your own stories within that world.
That's
What if,
awesome.
what if you're not a creative person, really, like myself?
Well-
I mean,
That's a very good question.
It is a valid question.
So basically, I don't know if you've ever encountered my game Gloom, which is a game I made in the past.
I've seen it.
It's similar in that, again, it's a storytelling game. With the Adventure Zone, storytelling is what we see as a lot of the sort of fun of it, but it's built on a very concrete foundation. You have different decks of cards that create essentially the challenges you're going to face. And ultimately what you're doing is saying, well, I'm going to take on that challenge. Here's my strength against it. Let me roll this die.
That's what I was
Now-
wondering. Does the
Right.
player expected to just come up with
No.
blank
If you can
things?
answer a question, I think you can create a story in this
Okay.
game. And
Oh,
so,
that's confidence building.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
so,
awesome.
There's different points along the way where you get some bonuses for answering specific questions as you play, and your answers to that questions are essentially creating the story.
Oh, cool.
So you might have a great gate, and the main point is, it's a trap challenge with a difficulty of 8. And you can just say, I'm the thief, I'm good at that, and roll the die, but it says on it, how are you going to get through the gate? And
Okay.
if you answer that question, you get a plus
So it
1 to your attempt.
encourage you to be more creative in what you're going to do, which is what I'm trying to do in D&D. It's not really hard.
But you don't have to begin with. And second, nobody is there to say, well, that doesn't make sense, or criticize
Yeah.
your
Thank
answer.
goodness.
Yeah.
Because that would
Awesome.
send me out of the room.
Yes.
And home,
Yep.
and home right away.
It also is a thing. It is entirely cooperative, and it doesn't require a game master.
Okay.
The combination of cards creates the challenge. All you do is layer the story on it, but it's something. So 2 to 5 people
Awesome.
create a story together.
It sounds like you don't need to be a fan of the Adventure Zone to enjoy this game.
No, if you like fantasy though,
Uh-huh.
it is set in the fantasy world of the Adventure Zone
Yeah.
Bureau of Balance arc, where there is an organization called the Bureau of Balance. They
It's
are-
connected, see?
It's connected, see? They're on a moon base, and you are reclaimers who are sent on that base, but then you are sent on different missions to reclaim artifacts that can be
Cool.
dangerous.
Awesome. Excellent way to sum that up.
Yeah.
It's like you've done this before. That's awesome.
How long have you
So-
done this before? How long
well,
have you? What,
yeah.
Was that what you're going to ask? I don't want to step on
We
your
can- we
interviewer
can go
toes.
there.
All right.
Well, the game isn't out yet, so we're still in playtest mode. We're currently in pre-order status. So we have 2 weeks left of our pre-order, and so we have been talking about it for quite some time, but it's also something that is incredibly fun to talk about. It's one of the playtesting this has been really a joy. We get to listen to other people's stories as they go in and essentially be an audience member to their own little mini podcast almost. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, how does one end up doing this? Does Griffin McElroy call you up and say, hey,
Wouldn't that be the dream?
Red
Like,
phone.
how did you get this number? Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically, it's something where we make games that we want to bring people together.
Uh-huh.
I've been doing role-playing game writing for almost 20 years now, and again, my favorite part of that is collaborative storytelling. With the McElroys and the Adventure Zone in particular, we always sort of felt that this is something that is breaking down some of the perceived barriers
Yes,
to role-playing.
yes.
That makes it feel more inviting and casual. So it was always something really liked. And then Jenn organizes gaming on the Joko cruise. They were
Okay,
guests last
cool.
year, and we just talked to them and pitched some ideas.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's fantastic.
I think one of the great, again, with the Adventure Zone is a podcast, also a graphic novel series, and it is a family, so 3 adult brothers and their dad,
Nice.
playing, opening up a set of D&D and trying to learn how to play on the air in a
Uh-huh.
podcast.
It's great.
And during the course of the years, they've gone through different systems.
Uh-huh.
And they've become, very experienced. But really, the audience, I think, embraced the fact that these were just people trying to make stories together, and their respect for one another, but the gentle jiving and things, and that's kind of what we want to bring to the game.
Yeah.
One of the things that really clinched it for us was going to a panel or a discussion where Travis McElroy was talking about their brand of humor as
Uh-huh.
always being punch-up humor.
Yeah.
Being, we're not really about, identifying a group of people or somebody and bringing them down in our humor or making them the butt of jokes. But we're willing to do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we thought, wouldn't it be really great to create just more of that? And one of the things that when we are creating games is we're embracing and just jumping into a fan base, and we are really, it's going to be part of our lives almost every day for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And so choosing what type of properties you work on for us is really important. And so we're like, these are the type of people that we want to work with.
I can only
Really
imagine.
wonderful. Yeah,
They're,
exactly.
they're fun, positive people.
Oh, exactly.
Just as fun and positive in person
I
as
bet.
you would
Yeah.
hope
I
they
bet.
would be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
God,
So
that's
we're-
great. That's wonderful. You know, but I don't want to leave out. You also have other games.
Yeah.
That is
Wha-
true.
One of them I know Rebecca's going to like. Action Cats.
Action Cats.
Tell us about Action Cats.
Sure.
So Action Cats and, of course, Action Pups, its canine cousin, are basically, it's a deck of cards that's 170 pictures of adorable cats. And they're all cats that were submitted by people who backed our Kickstarter.
Great.
So one of the things we like to say is, first off, if there's ever a zombie apocalypse and the internet collapses, this is a stash of adorable cat pictures.
Exactly. So we have you covered there, or dog pictures.
That is
wherever
awesome.
you're
And then on the other side of the cards, there's 2 prompts for the beginning and the end of the story. So it's a very simple, fun party game that's basically, here is a cat. The judge names the cat. So I'm going to say, this is Mr. Sprinkles.
Uh-huh.
And then everyone else puts together a story about the cat.
Oh my
combining
gosh, I
2
love
parts of
that.
the story from
Yeah.
2 cards in their hand.
And it's totally up to you. You can just, go with the story exactly as written, or you can expand on it as much as you want. We go around and everyone says,
That
well,
sounds so
let me tell
fun.
you about this cat.
Yeah.
And so it's basically, technically the judge picks someone and they win, but really it's an excuse to tell ridiculous stories
That's
about
great.
cats.
That's great.
It's really,
And
most
there are
people
so
are
many.
doing that already.
Yes.
You live with cats.
Uh-huh.
You have a whole secondary
If you
world.
go on Facebook, you
Yeah.
can see all the
Right.
people telling their stories.
And what I love about playing that game with people, it always comes in, if people don't even know each other, they take their phones out at the end and show and share photos.
That's
of
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Share your pet information
Yeah.
and pictures. People
Show me your
think that's a
furries.
great
Yeah,
idea.
and you can, it's a multi-generational game, and it's storytelling again, so it's not D&D, it's not
Yeah.
like a heavy role-playing
How long does
game.
a round or a how long is it? Just
I would
out
say
of
about
curiosity.
30 minutes.
Okay, well, that's great.
Perfect.
And it really is, of course, one of those games that we say play for nine cycles, but you can play as much or as little as you
Yeah.
want. I
And
mean,
you can-
if
you
you
can-
want to play for 2 hours, you could just play for 2 hours.
But I think one of the keys there, because as we talk about other games that we make, you realize that there's a vast difference in them, but there's the kind of steel thread that runs is how do we get people connecting at the table? And how do we put in mechanisms that allow them to feel comfortable to be creative with one another? It's the
Uh-huh.
adventure zone of what if I'm not creative? Well, can you answer a question?
Yeah.
And with Action Cats, okay, I might not know all of the stories, but like this is an adorable cat, you already do this game,
Right.
and kind of building trust at the table and having opportunities for people to talk to others.
One of the things Action Cast does as well is you combine 2 prompts to create a story. You can just use the story straight up. You can add a lot of detail if you want, but also a lot of the cards essentially are in gray, which means you can use this, or you can replace it with something else. This cat won the Nobel Prize, but Nobel Prize is in gray, so this cat won a beauty show. This
Okay,
cat won
okay.
the Orcacon Masquerade. I mean, whatever it is
That was my
that
cat.
you want.
Yeah.
So, kind of related. So you said you've been doing this for like 20 years. And I read you won an award. You're an award-winning.
I've won a few awards. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
How long has Together Games been?
4 years now, 4 or 5.
And
Yeah.
how did that start?
So we are married in life, and have this, and we are part of life. Like we're not on a secondary plane, but this is life.
Yeah.
But we are.
Thank you for specifying.
Yeah, every once in a while,
People
it's-
never know.
on the bubble, sometimes you don't know.
Coming to you live from the astral plane.
I
It's-
think when we met each other, so I came from product design and art background, and I think when we met each other, we knew that we wanted to combine our different strengths into making games. So really from the start, we knew that we wanted to work with one another. And our first game that we put out together was called Phoenix Dawn Command, which is a role-playing game that uses cards as a resolution mechanic. in which when you die, your player levels up.
Okay.
So it's,
Phoenix.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Phoenix.
Exactly. Yes.
Go ahead. No, please. No, you go.
Yeah, so we
What
did
she
Phoenix,
said.
and after that, the next step was Ilham, which is something where the band The Decemberists actually essentially did call us on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And say,
Wow.
hey, what they actually said is, hey, we love your game Gloom, let's hang out. And then they said, we have this cool board, could you make a game out of it?
Oh, that's
Oh, cool. And it looks cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking game, and it looks like you found it in your grandfather's attic.
Yeah.
And it was long lost from 100 years ago. And it's taking something that people might know, like playing cards, and bringing some modern gaming elements to it. So there's a lot more dynamic elements and replayability. So I think we're always looking for how can we make the table someplace that is as welcoming as possible, not just for people who don't identify as a gamer.
Excellent.
And who might not feel very creative, or might feel even things like having multiple copies of the game, or of game rules, or having little cheat sheets for each player. Things that make people feel like they have some autonomy in the game. So
I totally appreciate that. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're like, I want to create a cool game, but I'm such a latecomer. It's ridiculous, and this is
I'm a
because
latecomer
these
too.
things weren't around back then, and
Yeah.
it just sounds like this is like you out there. This is for
Yeah, the
you.
new-
and I just
the-
kind of feel
the-
like, yeah, I have a cat. Yeah, I'm not. I can answer a question.
Yeah.
Things
I
are
appreciate
inclusive
that stuff.
now.
Right.
Things used to not be inclusive. There was this barrier
Yeah.
Right.
to conventions and going into even a game store.
To be honest, there still are.
Yes, there are.
Orcacon might be an exception.
Yeah.
One of the things I was telling Donna Pryor
Yeah.
was, it's really nice to see tablecloths on the table.
Right? Yeah.
Just things like that make me feel like this is a warm environment, that people care about the table that they're at
Yeah.
and spending time at. And so we try to bring that in together as well. Like Keith certainly came from, working on D&D and designing Eberron and really being part of the community.
Wow.
And I kind of came from the outside, and I think I still bring that perspective of, here's the things that would matter to me. I still want to approach a table and feel like, how am I a part of this?
Yeah.
And even from the package of something.
Yeah. So, what's next for you guys?
The Adventure
The
Zone is
Adventure
certainly going to
Zone.
keep us busy for a little while to come
Yeah,
yet.
that comes out in August.
Yeah.
So we are, we're really, it's been hashtag blessed, the success of the pre-order, and that's at adventurezonegame.com. And the fan community for the Adventure Zone have just been
I bet. I mean, I pre-ordered it on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, we try to keep that as simple as possible and, approachable for people price point wise, and but also giving them a good quality experience. And I think as a small company, one of the things that we want to make sure we do is execute on that and focus in and get that to the printer as soon as possible, so we hit all the deadlines and so.
So-
super excited.
Yeah.
We're doing it for you.
Yeah, thank you very
it's
much.
pretty
Yeah.
We got those tattoos last night. I mean, we watched them.
For Paul.
Wow.
Do it for Paul.
So if people want to follow you or connect with you on the internets,
Yeah, so Twogether is spelled Twogether. Did I spell that right?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. I like that.
Twogether
No
Studios.
hyphen.
No
All one
hyphen.
word.
Just all one word. And we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and togetherstudios.com, and so you can see all of the games that we mentioned here.
great.
And also a link to the Adventure Zone game pre-order, which is just for the next 2 weeks only.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
I like the
Awesome.
name, The Adventure Zone.
Oh, it's you have to
I feel
listen.
like
It's
you
so
should have
fun.
The Adventure
Yeah.
Zone.
You'd love it.
Yeah, you would.
It
really
sounds like
like
it.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
like I
really
would.
fun.
Yeah.
Griffin is the kind of DM I try to be.
Yeah.
You know, I just kind of ignore the rules sometimes.
You're a good DM.
So
Let us do whatever we
I
want.
try, yes. I give out lots of neat magic items to my players.
He's kind of a new DM.
Go shopping at Fantasy Costco.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to love Fancy
And there's a
Costco.
jingle that goes. I'm not going to sing it.
No.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
really?
yeah.
If I knew it, I'd sing it with you.
Yeah, everyone who's listening right now is singing it in their head. if
They
know
are.
it.
And then forevermore. Well,
Hate
great.
that I-
You
hate
guys,
that I don't know it.
you guys, thank you for talking to us. Thank you for coming to
Thank you.
Orcacon.
Oh, it's
You're
so
welcome.
great.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Party on, Garth. Thank you, Jenn and Keith. That was terrific, and I really can't wait to play Action Cats. You guys want to play Action Cats with me?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it right
That
now.
was Action Zone.
Well, the Adventure Zone.
The Adventure
is
Zone,
yeah.
Whichever one. Are you going to listen to the Adventure Zone podcast?
Yes.
If I listen to podcasts
Yeah.
besides ours,
Uh-huh.
because I listen to ours,
Do you
I might
Do you?
listen to that.
It's pretty
Wow,
fun.
I
It's really
don't.
funny.
Wow.
I've listened to 2 or 3.
What?
Enough to know my
I
name
would
was
su-
not
highly
tacked
suggest
on
it.
the
That
end.
is
So
really
there's no
funny.
such thing as
Okay.
Action Cats?
Action Cats is another game they made a few
Okay.
years ago.
That's just the one I latched on to,
Along with
'cause
Action,
cats.
Action Pups.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Action Pups.
Yeah.
Okay.
they're cute little cousin. Action Pups.
Well, thank you for
Now
coming
what?
on the show because that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was very
I
cool.
mean, they didn't have
Come-
to, and they did.
coming,
That was-
coming to
thank you.
Orcacon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful that people are coming and supporting Orcacon.
Well, it's great thing about Orcacon is a lot of the local game developers come right here to kind of act like civilians and chill out
Yeah.
and play games. So that's really cool. And we did really well. We had over 1,300 people. And
Yeah.
Nice.
400 plus room nights.
Yeah,
So we
That's
did better
great.
than last year. We're growing every year.
yeah, and that's with the threat of snow. People came out. This is
Yeah,
this is
it's
Yeah.
Seattle. People don't do that.
semi-crappy weather, really.
And what better way to avoid such crappy weather when just coming up in a
Yeah.
nice warm hotel and play games with your friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What
Or
else?
strangers.
What else did you guys do? Did you yell at Jeremy Crawford again?
I did not.
Okay, that's
no,
good. Thank
no,
you.
I did not yell at him.
I'm gonna go over and talk to him
Hey,
and talk about your interaction.
he
with him.
actually he actually knew my name. It's pretty cool. I was like, wow,
Probably
that's
not-
awesome.
Probably
man.
not a lot of
He knows
people
my name.
criticize his work like that.
You're on his
so.
list of people he calls.
That's
for
right. Oh, I gotta
security
avoid this
guards
guy.
for.
I did notice he tried to turn away and run away,
Right.
but luckily he went in the elevator and I like stuck my foot in there.
It's like, oh, we're gonna talk about this now.
We're gonna talk about Unearthed Arcana.
Just wait until the
mean
next
the
next
playtest
edition
material that
comes
isn't
out.
in print?
He's gonna
Yes.
eliminate samurais altogether. Or
Oh
something.
wow, no, he would never do that. He would never do that.
Replace it with some
I mean,
other
they kind of
nationality
are
fighter.
eliminated already. as
So
illustrated.
what? No. What do you think the next next big thing for D&D?
I don't know. You mean on Tuesday?
Yeah.
I don't put much thought into those things. What's Steve thought it was? What did he say he thought it was? Steve.
Well, like the next book
What
that they're
did
coming
Steve
out
say?
with.
He thought it was tied to Critical Role. That's what he thought.
Oh, I could see that. I mean, they have the was it Green Ronin put out a book for a Critical Role setting.
But then why did they come out with the Laurel Silverhand thing?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Usually they tie things together. There's a new dice set with other stuff that's coming out in March or
Okay.
February.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to throw us off the scent.
Yes, they're trying to trick us. They're
Yeah.
very good at keeping this under their hat.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the
It's-
Eberron book was a total surprise.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this is amazing how good they are. The federal government can't do this.
No.
But Wizards of the Coast can.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe they
I think it's
should.
Wizards and Marvel is pretty good about
Yeah.
keeping everything under wraps.
They should be advisors to the federal government.
You heard it
They
here.
might do a better job.
They might.
Well, I have nothing else to say, I guess.
I think I'm good.
Ready to wrap this up?
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed Orcacon 2020.
Yeah.
I'm super tired. Thank
Yeah,
everybody
I had
for
a good
coming
time.
out. And thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Go
and,
ahead,
and this is a new. I think this episode is like the first one of 2020, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
All
Don't forget
right.
to like and subscribe. Click us on YouTube.
Right.
Hit that bell.
Email
Follow us
at-
on Twitter.
yeah,
Follow us on Twitter.
Email us at geekstocascade@gmail.com.
Review us on your podcast app.
Facebook.
And MySpace.
Yes, get on our wall on
Sorry, I'm
MySpace.
old.
Rebecca, you still have MySpace?
You'll be in my top 8.
Okay.
No.
Just
wanted
email.
I just
only
wanted to have
7.
input there.
Email Rebecula's AOL account
Write me a letter.
or Prodigy if you want to go even further back.
Mine's comedy server.
Well, with that, we're going to sign off here. We're going to play some more games, interview some more people before we just wind down and then collapse in a heap.
Yep.
But it was a great time. So with that, embrace the nerd, and I hope you make that saving throw.
Oh.